My name is Robert Trujillo.
Lightweight champion of the world.
Oh man, how did you even get into it? Like, how'd you actually get the start? Like,
Being a fighter, it put me in there with a little advantage.
this episode is brought to you from Sheath Underwear. You know, Sheath got the best underwear in the game. All right, man, you want to go. You know, like I always say, if you ever catch me in the streets, you can check my underwear any day of the week, and you know it will always be Sheath. And if it's not, I will pay you $100. Once again, go to sheath.com. Make sure you use a Swift promo, and you would get 25% or 30%, one of them, off your total order, man. So go check them out.
Welcome back. We're here on another episode of Belt to Ass. You got myself, Elijah Smith. We got my co-host, Gilbert Smith. And then we got the Power Slap champ, Robert, the real deal Trujillo.
Yeah. You know, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to get into it today. What's up, Rob?
What's up, my dude?
Man,
Thank you
so
for
good to see you. Yeah, so, man, we're going to start off pretty basic. I just want to kind of introduce yourself a little bit, you know, just about the Power Slap and how you got into it.
So like you said, my name is Robert Trujillo. I'm actually getting all my memories from Power Slap. The first ever time I went out there was March 3 years ago.
Damn, it's already been 3 years.
I kind of did it just because I'm like, fuck, dude, I want to meet Dana White.
How'd you even get into it? Like, how'd you actually get the start? Like,
Dude,
fly around or something?
So one of my buddies, you guys know him, Travis Aragon?
Yeah.
He saw an ad for it, and he's like, I think you'd be good at this. He's always try out together. And like, to me, I'm like, this shit's fake, bro. I was like, Dana's not holding slap competition. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'll try out for it though. So I put in my application online, and next thing I know, maybe a couple of weeks later, I get a call from these people, and it's the same film group that films The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're like calling me, and they're like, yeah, like we're gonna bring some people out. We're gonna have an exhibition. Dana wants to try this out, and like, dude, all the way up until the day I was gonna fly out, dude, I thought it was bullshit. I was like, no, there's no way.
So hold on. So the tryouts, are you guys like the tryout? Like, is there like a workout plan? Like, for the Ultimate Fighter, what did you do for the tryout for the Ultimate Fighter? Your first season.
Yeah, we had to go out there, fly out to Vegas. We had to grapple for 2 minutes. Then we hit pads for a minute, and then we had to do a personality interview with the producers. Did you have to do anything like that?
So the first time we went out, they had us do like this whole broad range of testing. You know, they had us test our neck strength. They had us test our actual power of like smacking on the power cube. And it's crazy because now they've updated it to where they have like a whole range of tests that whenever you hit it, it shows your velocity, your power, your human force, like everything like that. So they kind of tested that. And that first ever one was like an exhibition. They really didn't even have weight classes yet. So they kind of just matched us with kind of like
they said, you kind
size.
Of you look around the same.
Yeah, that's like old school UFC days. There's no weight classes.
And like I said, dude, it was kind of like I was kind of sketchy about it all the way up until I was like, dude, I don't know if this shit's real. I said, these dudes are gonna kidnap me. So I told the dude, I messaged one of the guys from the group. I was like, is this legit? It was my mom. I had to put it on my mom, but it was my mom's kind of worried about me. I'm gonna get kidnapped. And he sends me a video of him inside the Apex. We're setting up right now. He's like, everything's real. He's like, we're waiting on you guys. And I was like, damn. I was like, this shit's...
All right, this is the real deal.
Yeah, so we show up. Like I said, we do all those tests, bro. We do all this and that. And I'm like, the only thing I'm worried about is meeting Dana. I'm like, I didn't even care about doing the whole competition. I was like, I don't care about this, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here to meet Dana.
Because at the time, you was a undefeated 5-0 professional MMA fighter, and that was like your path. Yeah. You wanted to do MMA.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the main goal, you know. I'm like, even though it's not fighting, I'm gonna go in there, show Dana I can take a hit, and I can generate a hit.
Also, I do fight.
You slide him the resume.
First thing after my first knockout, I told Dana, I was like, Dana,
just in
5-0, dude. What's up?
Yeah.
I'm like, just in case you.
First and foremost, big shout out to Travis Aragon. Like, he came and trained with us for a little bit. Awesome dude, love him. So big shout out to him. So now you trying out, and you got picked up.
Yeah, so unfortunately for Travis, we were supposed to go out there in that original, like I said, 3 years ago together, but he had just had a fight. I think it was here in Springs, and he got his orbital fractured. So they didn't clear him to go out and try out, which kind of sucked. But so I go out, my very first match, like I said, I went against this good dude, and everyone backstage, Rob, you nervous? You nervous? I was like, bro, I ain't nervous of a fucking slap. You know what I mean? It's just a slap.
I was just playing with you a couple of minutes ago, and I was nervous. I was like, "Damn, Robert Reed about to slap me." I was nervous. Okay.
So I wasn't like that.
You
I
a
wasn't
different
like
breed.
that deep into it though.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, they're like, someone else comes back there. Oh, everyone's getting knocked out there. I was like, from a slap, and they're like, yeah, dude, people are going to sleep, and I was just like, oh shit.
Did you watch any like slap contests before that?
I didn't watch any of the shit. The only thing I would see is like, I don't know if you guys saw that, like the little tatted up dude with like, he had like black eyes, and he just went against this big old fat dude who like
yeah.
That's the only video I seen, but I was like,
Yeah,
I don't think they're gonna put me against someone that big. So I'm like, I think I'll be okay. I'm like, I don't think no one's gonna knock me out from a slap, and so my very first match, I go out there and I go against this boxer from Houston, and
So he actually knows how to turn the hips over.
yeah, so he won the coin toss on me, and I was just like, all right,
Okay,
whatever.
let's talk about that real quick. The coin toss. That's been like to me the most controversial part of it. Because if you get the first slap, I'm not even get a chance to get some get back. I may be out.
Yeah.
That coin toss means a lot. How does that go?
So, the shitty thing is, so on season 1, they would do it right in front of us, red or blue corner, boom. Now they do it like a week beforehand, or week and a half beforehand, so they could,
Oh no, hell no, I need
they
to
could
see
get,
that.
they do it behind closed doors, bro, so they could get the betting odds up. And dude, I've had 6 matches. I've only won the coin toss 1 time.
That's wait. So they do behind closed doors. You don't even see it.
Yeah.
Who just say they even doing it?
That's wrong.
Like, this guy's going first. He's second. Good luck to this dude.
Yeah.
Dude, there's so many of us who are like, oh, we think
This
this
is
is rigged.
Yeah.
And one of my buddies, he's like, I think they keep making you lose for betting odds. He's all, no one's gonna bet against you if you win the coin toss. He's all, if you lose it, some people might. Cause my last match I actually opened up as an underdog.
That do smell a little funny. That smell a little funny.
Yeah, you're onto something there.
Yeah, right.
We onto you, Dana.
Yeah, so to me the coin toss is pretty wild. I do know they incorporated a new rule now. I don't know exactly the whole gist of it, but if you do get put down on that first one, like you lose a coin toss, you get put down on the first one. I think they give you like 2 minutes to recover and say if you want a rebuttal shot. Mm-hmm. Which it could go good for you or it could go bad. You might knock him out with your shot and you win the match, or you're gonna be all wobbled and go hit him like a bitch.
Yeah.
And then get knocked out fully.
The second slap. So, did you understand the rules when you off your first match? Because like the whole you can't flinch, the hand behind the back, all those things. Yeah, you can't move your feet. Did you understand that?
So I understood them, but I understood them so much to the point where I was scared to do anything wrong. Like, I'm like, fuck, I've been fighting my whole life. I can't turn my foot over. That's where I generate my power. I can't turn my foot over. So I go into that first match, and I'm like, I know I'm not gonna flinch because I'm okay with taking hits. I know I'm not gonna flinch, but I still like close my eyes every time just in case. I don't want to get poked in the eye.
I see your technique. Your technique is like,
real. I'll sit there real strong, but I'm not tense, I don't tense till like the last second. Some dudes are just fully tense the whole time, and it's like a car wreck, bro. You're tense that whole time, you're gonna get to sleep. You're loose the whole time, you're going to sleep.
So there's actually some real technique behind it.
Yeah,
your timing has to be there.
Yeah,
you're right.
And I think me being a fighter, it put me in there with a little advantage over these guys because as soon as they're doing their wind-up, I'm breathing with it. I'm watching their hand go. I exhale when they're pulling away, and when they get close to my face, I exhale. And then as soon as that last one comes, like you said, I time it, and I exhale real hard, and I tense real quick.
Breathing.
Breathing technique. I tell everyone, I said it's the biggest thing.
I got a question. Was there a slap that, like, out of all the slaps that you've taken, it was like, oh damn, that kind of rattled, but you had to stay poker face, because there's been fights where I've been punched and I'm like, damn, but you as a fighter, you got to keep that poker face.
Yeah. There was only one. It was against Jules Scott, and he's ranked like I think number 2 at 170. He's like 6-0 at 170.
And you compete at lightweight.
Yeah, 155.
155.
and they didn't have my division. It was for Power Slap 1, the very first card.
Yeah.
Like I said, he was undefeated at welterweight. We kind of met in the middle because we're kind of around the same height. You know, he's just a lot stockier, and he was an MMA fighter himself. He's fought he fought on Masvidal's bare knuckle MMA. Yeah, so he's had like
they're bringing out the brutes, man.
Yeah, and he was kind of viral before our match because in one of his MMA fights he got kicked in the cup. And dude, he was throwing up in that 5 minutes of recovery time. He ends up recovering and he wins the fight after getting kicked in the groin like that.
That gotta be a hell of a kick to the groin to make you want to throw up.
Yeah, in the middle of a match.
In the middle of a match for everyone.
But he was the one that landed that blow. That was like, oh.
Yeah, because I was a little nervous because I lost Quintas, of course. You know, I was a huge underdog. I think I was like a plus 450 underdog.
Damn.
And it's just because he. Like I said, he was undefeated at one side at a higher weight class, and I was kind of like we kind of met like in the middle. He landed his first one on me, and I was like, oh, dude. Once I ate that first hit, dude, my confidence just shoots to the roof because I'm nervous up until, and then I'm like, oh, that was a bitch ass hit.
Yeah.
You know. But then I hit
That's
him.
the first thing I think everybody think. You a bitch. That's the first.
That's all you can give me.
Bitch. I'll slap like a little bitch.
That's what I was fucking worried about.
I mean, that's the first thing I'd be thinking about.
Yeah, so I come back and I hit him, and he does this. He's a fighter, so he would do the same shit. I was like, oh shit, he does that same timing, but he kind of like dips a little bit. So whenever I came where I was aiming, I hit him, and I hit him a little high. I hit him with my wrist, like on his eye, and I was like, fuck. I was a bitch ass hit too. And his next one, because he was the first dude who really worked on he would get crazy low like that. And he'd be almost to the ground, dude. And I think it's because he went on a different count. He went on 3 the first time, maybe on the second one he went on 2. So I was just like, I think I was fully ready for the timing. He came up, dude, and you could see, dude, his straight palm. His palm hit first, but it was his whole hand, dude. Hit me straight on my chin, kind of knocked me like that, and it kind of just like gave me that, oh shit, you know, like that one felt like a punch.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't take too many of these. Yeah. You got one. So you do get 3 slaps.
Yeah.
Unless there's like some type
championship.
So title fight is 5.
5. Yeah. Okay.
I watched all 5 of those.
Yeah, you was there.
Live.
Okay, hold on real quick. Your first slap that you took, what was your thought process? The first one.
First one, like I said, dude, it was that very first match 3 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that wasn't fucking shit, you know. But then I'm out there, like you guys are asking me if I knew the rules. All I knew was not to turn my feet over.
Yeah.
So I'm just like,
not getting any.
Yeah, I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, that wasn't shit. See, I hit him, dude. He eats it. His next hit, I eat it. I hit him again, and on his third one, dude, it was kind of one of those hits that you said because he stepped and he fucking clubbed. He hit me in my ear, dude. Yeah. So he hit me hard, and it kind of like made my ear ring. I'm like, oh shit. So I come out that next hit, dude. I turned my foot over, so I have a loss on my record because I came out. I cracked this dude. I was going to
ask about that loss.
Yeah, I cracked this dude, turned my whole foot over, knocked him out. I got disqualified.
Oh,
yeah.
So you were really undefeated. You never fully took a loss from a slap.
Yeah,
you took a loss from a DQ.
Yeah.
Shit. So I'm glad you didn't slap me for it.
The crazy thing about this is, so I knocked dude out, so he technically gets the win over me.
Yeah.
And you know we're in this. All the guys who were there, they created like this little group, and like it got to the point where already like 6 months had passed because we're like, oh well, maybe Dana didn't like it, maybe this, nothing's gonna happen to it. And then all of a sudden, like middle of October, late October, they called me and they're like, hey, we're gonna be filming a whole reality show off this.
Like the Ultimate Fighter.
We know you lost off of technicality, but we feel like you're built a little bit more for this than your opponent was. Would you like to come try out? And I was like, hell yeah, shit. Yeah. And at first, all my coaches were kind of mad about it, of course.
They was? Really?
Yeah.
They was like, man, you ain't doing this slapping shit. We got fights in the books. Right?
Yeah, they're we got to save your head for some fights. Dude. You can't be just taking free shots like that.
They ain't wrong. And I mean, I probably, if my son would have came to me.
I'd have been like, man, well, hold on now. Well, let's just experiment with this, and see how far we take it.
Yeah, and to me, dude, it's like one of those things where now, like you're saying, dude, I get a lot more nervous for this than I do for fighting. And it's because I am like, I consider myself a legit fighter.
Yeah.
And I could just be going up like this kid I went against. He was just a tough, strong motherfucker who hits hard. Dakota McGregor. Yeah. And he's just this tough kid who hits hard as shit. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, you could be a legit fighter. Like you could put Poatan up there against this dude in 205, bro. He's a Hawaiian dude. He killed. His name's Russell Rivero, dude. He fucking cracks, dude. I'm really ain't saying anyone who hits as hard as him when he slaps. I'm like, dude, you could give him the coin toss and he'll hit Poatan first, and I promise you 100 times he's gonna knock him out.
He's going down.
Yeah.
And that's I feel like that's the scary thing in fighting is like there's in slap, I'm like there's a chance I could go get knocked out by just some random dude. Off the streets.
There's somebody, and I thought about this the other day, who would be really good at power slap, and it was Bratang.
Oh yeah.
Bro, he got. When I think of like somebody who can,
you remind me of him, honestly.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'll
play
be
him in a
looking
movie.
I'll be looking at all the comments on Instagram and stuff, and they're like, "This dude's like the slap Bratang."
Yeah, I believe it because I mean the slaps that I like.
He takes punches
that I saw live. I was like, damn. I was like,
yeah.
shit.
So you being a fighter, you've been a lot of fighting events. Like, after a while, sometimes some fights get boring. You're like, all right, this is kind of boring. What was your experience of watching the power slap?
My experience of watching the power slap was like I was ready to see the next slap every single time. And in fights, you have those down times where, especially MMA, where you get into grappling exchanges and all that stuff like that. And then once guys get back to their feet, the crowd, they're like, yeah, let's go. It's like that for power slap every single round, every single
because every slap could be a potential knockout.
Yeah, it's a potential knockout, and even if it's not a knockout, you're like, damn, he just got this shit slapped out of him.
He just ate that.
I was watching podcasts and some dude put it in perspective like perfectly. He said it's like a home run derby for baseball. Everyone's just going up there hitting home runs every single time.
Yeah. That's a good.
And like when it first started coming out, it was like, of course, frowned upon, and now it's just getting huge. And I tell everyone, I'm like, bro, I was like, because you experienced that shit in person, bro. It's crazy. Yeah. It's fun.
They had all the. So they had two different. So they had a right side where they had all the celebrities and all that stuff like that, and then they had the other side where they had random people, just casual fans. And I saw everybody was there from what's his name, Max Crosby,
Mario Lopez.
Mario Lopez. Bro, I swear, it's so funny. Rey Mysterio. When we walked in, I saw Rey Mysterio, and I know what Rey Mysterio looks like without his mask.
Yeah.
So I saw him walk. He walked past the bar, and I talked to Janai. I was like, I feel like, is that Rey Mysterio? And I was like, nah, maybe I'm tripping. And in 2 seconds,
he didn't have the mask on.
Yeah, and then 2 seconds later, I looked on Instagram, and it was he had his mask on. He was taking a picture. And he was there. I was like, I knew it. I knew it.
You missed the opportunity.
I did
because that was one of your idols back in the day when we used to watch WWE.
Yeah, I knew.
That was one of the ones I was most hyped to take a picture with because he was at the event before that. And I was just coaching that event, so I was able to just mingle around, and I saw him, and I'm like, bro, I said the whole reason I got into fighting is because I loved WWE growing up, bro. Like even though now it's fake, I'm like that's what I watched growing up. I didn't watch like boxing too much or anything like that. I just watched. Stone Cold was my idol, bro. I'm like,
so like, all right, now that you're a power slap champion, are we gonna get back to MMA?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's like something like when people ask me when I train for this, I'm like I just train MMA. There's a few things I do different. Like I work the shit out of my neck,
of course,
so it's strong. And then I do a lot more like explosive. Like so, I actually started working with, and it's kind of crazy. She's from my little town there in Raton, but she was a D1 All-American in the hammer throw, and she's just like a real strong lady. She's been training me, helping me do like different explosive workouts that they do for the hammer throw.
She graduated from Boulder. She was a thrower. She threw disc and hammer as well. And when she was watching some of the guys slap, she actually mentioned that. She mentioned that like when some of the guys go down low, she was like, that's kind of like throwing the disc.
Yeah, dude, so it was like perfect. I was like, can you have me some work? Like I know all my workouts. I know workouts for fighting. I know this, but I like to see from a different perspective. And she was having me do some like different drills I never done before, dude. And I'm like, oh shit, like I really feel like this is like building power on my, even for when I, have another fight, like I'm gonna have a lot more power like on my punches, you know?
Well, I tell you what, once you go back to MMA, you already know people gonna look to take you down. You know what I'm saying? People like, nah, you're not gonna be slapping me in the cage.
Yeah.
So your wrestling takedown defense gonna have to be up to par.
But I mean, going back, because obviously when we fought, that
wait, we haven't even talked about that. First and foremost, these guys not only UFC, Power Slap, they actually fought.
Yeah.
So and Elijah won by decision, and this was like it was during the time frame that you was kind of doing Power Slap.
Yeah.
You wasn't a champion yet, but you was rising through the ranks.
Yeah, and I was coming off from Fury.
Yeah.
And I had just beat Chopper, and I remember, I think we were just sitting in the gym, and we got that call, or we were sitting.
Wait, no, fam?
Yeah.
No. I have to say exactly what happened. We were trying to figure out the next step for you. I was literally in the bathroom on the toilet, and I remember texting you. No, I text Combat Sports. I say, hey man, we have an opportunity to have Elijah fight back in Colorado because you've been fighting in Texas the whole time.
Yeah.
Do you got a slot for him? Credit to them, they came back. It was like, hey, what about Robert? And then I text Shoot. I was like, hey, we got Robert. He's 5-0. What do you think? He was like, let's do it. And then from there, but it was literally I was on the toilet when I was texting everybody.
Man, I was when I got that, or when you told me, I was like, shit, all right, what we gonna see what we about? Because at that time I was 3-1, and a little bit of that loss was still ringing in my head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and it was so like
so Elijah was coming off of a knockout loss.
Yeah.
So to fight a knockout artist, it was like it was something Elijah had to go through and be smart about to face that fear because you get put down once and you're thinking to yourself, man, do I got a chin? Am I as good as I thought I was?
Yeah.
So there was like a lot of fears and stuff we had to go through to fight you, man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't realize the whole part of that is like they think all of us are just fearless motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
And because trust me, dude, I was fucking like you said, I was enjoying the fucking slap life, dude. I was fucking, which I normally don't do. I was out partying with my friends a lot. And my coach called me, and literally overnight, he's like, hey, we got this fight. You want to take it? I said, let's fucking do it. And literally overnight, dude, I fucking switched from, I said, fuck around, partying with my friends, dude, eating like shit to, dude, I went on a strict-ass diet overnight, went back to training.
Because obviously the fight was at 35, and you probably don't even hang around 50s anymore.
Yeah, I was
150.
I was like 167 when I started. And I'm about that right now. I'm about right there.
Yeah.
So, I was busting my ass. I had a great training camp, everything like that. But to me, dude, that's probably like you said, dude, I was fucking probably like depressed that whole camp because I literally didn't feel like I was having fun training the way I normally do. I usually have fighting's my getaway, have fun, but dude, I feel like I was just training to cut weight. You know what I mean? And even like the last day, like one of my partners who was there, he was like cutting weight with me, and he's like, "So you all right?" I was like, "Bro, I go through this every time. I'm good. I'm like, I'm okay." But
deep down, he was like, "I'm not okay,
deep down, I'm like,
I feel that pain because when I cut down from fighting at 185 to 170, the first couple fights I fought at that weight class, it was like I wasn't training to get better. I was training to make weight, and that was the whole weight camp. Fight camp was all about making weight, and that's miserable. Like if you never experienced that, that's not fun,
dude. And it could fuck with your head too, because it's like you said, I walk around a little heavy now. So I'm over there I'm always talking shit, frowning on these dudes that power slap. I'm like, there's no reason you should be cutting 15, 20 pounds that smack someone.
Yeah.
So in a fight, you could use that. You could wrestle. You could use your weight. I said, but in power slap, you're just gonna stand there and get cracked in your head, dude. Like your brain's the last thing to rehydrate. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason you should be cutting more than 10 pounds. Yeah. So I was over there preaching about not cutting weight, dude. And the last day comes, bro, and I still had like 9 pounds to cut.
You cut 9 pounds in the day of?
I cut 9 pounds in like 2.5 hours, bro. It was
Jesus.
Wait. So you cut 9 pounds for a power slap?
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh, for you.
Oh, for that, dude, I cut like 16 the last 2 days.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
I cut that day. I probably cut like maybe 3 or 4 pounds.
Yeah, I dieted down to I dieted down to about 150 fight week, and of course, I had the water load. It was probably 150 all fight week, and then the night before, I took probably like 4 or 5 hot baths, and I cut probably around like 9 pounds.
Yeah.
And I woke up, I floated about 1.5 pounds, and then that last day, I was in the sauna for maybe like another 4 hours, and then I drove up in a little sauna suit.
Yeah, yeah.
It was always my trick,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like,
You try to float. So the question I have: what was your game plan? And I'm gonna tell you the game plan, the whole situation with Elijah fighting you. But what was your game plan fighting Elijah?
my whole game plan was not to get taken down.
keep it on the feet. But like, okay, but so like I understand that, right? And I think this way some fighters kind of like go bad. Well, my goal is not to be taken down, but then you got to think about what type of takedowns we're talking about. It's because then if you start watching Elijah fights, he has certain takedowns, and you have to start like worrying about those things.
Yeah.
Well, were you looking at it like that, or was just like I just need to defend it all?
I was looking at it more as watching his chain wrestling, which he did really well. You know, because I feel like I'd do good at defending his first initial one or two.
We actually talked about that. We actually talked about that you were good at defending the first takedown, but just keep driving you to the cage and working our cage wrestling.
And that's exactly. I mean, you played it out perfect because I would do that, dude. Even like, we'd have like the same training partners, for
like
a while.
Isaiah.
Yeah. And I'd be working with him and Terrence a lot, and they'd be doing the same shit to me, and like you said, I'd defend the initial first or second takedown really good. Even training, I'd defend it really well. Like, I feel like a lot of those guys can't get me down off their first initial shot or the second one. But you keep working, then it comes.
Yeah.
And I feel like, like it was like one of those, I was just in my head every single round because fucking, I'd defend the first two and I'd be like, all right, and then you just keep going, and then you get me, and I'd be like, fuck. Yeah, I'm not even going to get up, dude. I'm just here, bro. I'm just
I tell you, the funny thing about that is, like, obviously we had the same training partner, which was Isaiah Diggs. Because of that fight, we actually kicked Isaiah Diggs out the gym. We didn't really kick him out the gym. We just told him, like, you can't be training with Robert and then come up and train with Elijah. That's a little weird.
Yeah, so I told you, I literally, because I was going back and forth, I was like, do I, because, I mean, Isaiah, he's a solid dude.
Yeah.
He's not going to, go back,
Bellator.
watch out for this. But it was just like, for my mentality, I was like, you know what, just for this fight camp, I feel like it's best for us to keep our distance. And then after the fight, then we come back with
Isaiah,
exactly.
we love Isaiah Diggs.
See, and I get it, dude, because I'm kind of the same way, but not so much in the sense where I was like worried about if he was saying shit. Like, I just don't want to hear. Like, he comes to me, oh, he's working this. I don't want to fucking hear it.
Like we don't want to. Like, for me, I don't want to. I don't want to hear no pillow talk because I don't know if I could trust that. You know what I'm saying? And it makes me feel like I'm cheating too. Yeah. So no.
See, and like the thing, like you said, he saw it, so he never once mentioned anything about you other than like we'd be training. He'd be like, all right, you just need to work on your wrestling a little bit more. Like, he would never mention your name. He'd just be like, you need to work on your wrestling.
Let me ask you a question, because in the first round, you were hitting me with some calf kicks. Was that part of your game? Because I ain't gonna lie, there was like probably like 3 or 4 calf kicks where I was like, all right, I was like, shit.
And so my game plan, like you said, I was like, I'm gonna come out early and try to beat his legs up so it'd be harder for him to press off that shot, So that was part of my game plan. I'm like, gonna weaken his leg, and then I'm be able to time his takedowns a little bit more, hopefully, defend him, land some hits, and just go into that. But like I said, dude, I'm even glad, like, trust me, it was like one of those fights I was happy with just even going to decision, you know what I mean? I was like, dude, I was just fucking beat up from the weight cut.
Well,
I ain't making no excuses.
No, I get it.
Cut,
I mean, I tell you, because the truth is, Elijah, like, my game plan for Elijah, it wasn't just about wrestling. I wanted him to keep the space because he's longer and taller and tag you with the jab and also get your own calf kicks going on. But what happened was he did get the takedown. And in between first and second round, he came to me. He said, you know what, I'm going to be small. In other words, we're not going to sit and bang. We're just going to go back to the takedown because he was able to get the takedown. And the problem was he was able to keep you down. Yeah. Once that happened, we was like, okay, you know what, we're going to go with this route. So go ahead.
And also a little bit of like the crowd kind of plays a big factor because you had a big crowd there. I had a big crowd there. It was like one of those things I was like, you remember what I asked you in the back? I literally asked you, I was like, right before we walked out, I was like, man, is this a good fight?
Yeah.
Is this a good fucking man? Because I was like, it's just something about fighting back at home after, being gone for so long.
It's sometimes easy to fight on the road than it is to fight at home.
Oh, dude, trust me, dude. I was the same way, dude. Like,
I was sitting in the back I was playing with the ball. I was throwing the ball at the wall. I was like just thinking my mind was going here. My mind was going there.
And you guys the main event last fight.
Yeah, dude.
Actually, your guy beat our guy. So we were already coming off of a loss.
Yeah.
Right? So we was like, man, we can't go 0-2 tonight.
Yeah, I was like,
I was the same way because we got a little, instead of getting the hotel together, we got a little Airbnb together. So I'm just like laying there. I was downstairs and my coach, Jeff, came up to me. He's like, how you feeling? I was like, bro, I ain't fought in front of my home crowd in a while. Same exact shit you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, even though I'm not from here, I had a lot of people who could come.
yeah,
you know?
no, you had
I said, I've been doing all this stuff on TV, bro. I said, I feel like I have a little bit more pressure now. And of course, like fight promotions, of course, they announce me as Power Slap.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
They want to bite a little bit off that too. So I'm just like, fuck, I'm gonna bring this shit up.
Well, I tell you what, man, like your tenacity and the fact that like you have this like you could get hit and you could keep going. It was like one of those things. I wanted Elijah to do more, but I was like, he's being smart because I know we gave you the opportunity. You're gonna try to like go for the KO. So we have to be smart fighting you.
And it did it perfect, especially I think in the third round because he was just circling, staying away from me because that's. For that final round, I was like, fuck, I just got to get close to him and knock him out. But if I get too close, he's going to take me down. So I was just kind of like stuck in a little stalemate, you know what I mean?
That makes sense. Yeah, no, man, that was one of those fights I was like, man, I'm just happy I'm just out of here now. Because I didn't want to get I did not want to get hit. I didn't want to get hit, so I was like, okay. Robert, he's also one of those guys that's hard to finish. You don't get finished. Yeah. And I'm like, okay. Well,
I mean, he technically don't really lose. He was undefeated.
Yeah. You don't lose. And and I've seen a couple of fights where you took shots and you ate them and you just kept coming forward and I was like, all right, well, we got to beat him a different way.
Yeah.
Because if I do that, I'm probably gonna fuck around and hurt my hands.
Right.
Dude, it's funny. Me and one of my friends was just talking about this last night, bro. Because we were talking about it, and I was like, bro, I think like 95% of the dudes I've fought have all been a lot more talented than I am. I said, I just got that heart and that chin, dude. I just want to keep going forward, and like you said, dude, I've had plenty of fights like that, dude. I remember I had one fight, dude. I got the shit beat out of me in the first round, bro. Like, dude, literally the point, dude, I almost bit through my whole tongue, I had a fucking swollen eye, and I come out the next round and I knock the dude out. And it's just like, I'm like, all right, maybe I just got to take a little bit of beating. These fights.
To wake you up. Well, I tell you, man, it was a good professional fight, and I appreciate your attitude, and you was cool, you was respectful, and we took a lot from that fight because it was not only just fighting your talent and your strengths, it was fighting your name, the whole power slap. There was a lot of mental battles that Elijah had to go through, and he got so much better from that.
Oh yeah,
and we thank you. I mean, I know it sucks to take a loss and to hear that from me for the guys that did it, but we really do appreciate you.
Yeah, no, it's cool, like you said, like losing to someone like that, because then said some of my homies, we were watching your fight, we were playing cornhole, and we were watching your last fight.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, you did better against this dude.
Yeah,
This guy
right.
You did better against this guy than he's fighting in the UFC. It's just like,
It's so funny because I damn near said the same shit about because my last opponent he fought last night. And I was like, damn. I was like, I did better than Raul did against Vince. I'm like, it's one of those things. I MMA math, I guess.
Yeah. Every match is different, dude.
Yes. Go ahead.
I do want to ask. So we did ask you if you wanted if going back to MMA was one of those things that you were thinking about. What would be a good time frame for you?
Dude, honestly, I'm wanting to jump back in right away, dude. Like, I just know I need to be in better shape.
Yeah. So with being in a better shape, does that? So I'm guessing 135 is obviously scrapped off the table.
Yeah. So I think just coming back, I think I want to take a fight at 145, but eventually get back to 135. I'll take one at 145.
Okay.
Maybe a bum fight to up my
confidence. And people don't understand the fight game, right? Sometimes you need those fights that are gonna help, like you said, boost your confidence, build the record back up, and whatnot. So there's nothing wrong with that. You get a guy who's like, I'd say he's like a 5-3, 5-4. 5-4 guy sounds good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
there's a field room out there.
like I said, I think that'd be perfect because I was saying I put on the weight, you know, and it's not like bad weight. I put on muscle weight.
Yeah.
You know, I
I
weigh like
gym.
I weigh like 165 right now. I bench like 295.
Yeah.
And I deadlift. I think my deadlift was like 465 the last time I did it, and I throw up like the 125-pound dumbbells. You know what I mean? I have just like a lot. I see some of the dudes who are like huge, and I'm like, damn, I can't even do that much weight.
Actually, I wouldn't do that much weight. Like,
Yeah,
honestly,
I would.
my shoulders, the way my elbows and shoulders operate, I wouldn't even do that much
One
weight.
of these days, we gotta have a max out day. Where we just max out
Everything.
Let's see where our max squat is. Well, I mean, I did it in high school, and that was the last time I ever maxed. And,
They have you do it at the UFC at all?
No, not any like traditional lifts like bench press or deadlifts or all that stuff. But I did do the testing at the PI.
Okay.
Did you do that?
Yeah, they had us do certain ones.
You
but
do the VO2?
Yeah, they had us do a couple. They didn't have us do that one, obviously, because you need cardio.
Yeah.
But they had us do a lot of, like, power ones and flexibility ones. But they did have us do, like, a traditional bench, you know. They'd have just... It's just kind of crazy. And they had us do deadlift. And, but, yeah, like I said, dude, even my last match, dude, I was, like, kind of tripping because I had to cut weight for fucking power slap. And, dude... And like you're saying, dude, is just...
Yeah, I was actually we were talking about that before we got here, was cutting weight. Because I was saying, like, if I wanted to... Jiu-jitsu tournaments, a lot of the times, I'm competing at my natural weight class.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not cutting weight for a jiu-jitsu tournament. And if I do, it's maybe like 5 pounds or something like that. So do you still have to, I was thinking, like, do you still have to put that same mentality of cutting weight for power slap that you do for MMA fights?
I don't, and it's because, like I was saying, I was like, there's no reason I should be cutting this much weight to do power slap.
And that would be
for 3 slaps.
Yeah, that'd be my thinking too. Like, why am I sitting here cutting 20 pounds for 3 slaps, maybe 5 if it's a championship fight, but you do also have to think about, like you said, when you're cutting weight and you're draining, you're dehydrating your brain.
Yeah, dude. So I was there, and I was like, all of them, like, where are you still like 12 pounds? Like when we arrived there, because I was like 167, and I was like, bro,
so don't worry about me.
I said, I cut real weight to fight. I said, I cut over 30 pounds to fight. I was like,
just 12
I ain't worried about cutting this little bit of weight. And then, so I was kind of there just the whole week, and then I wake up the morning of like 163 and a half. And like I said, dude, that was it was a learning experience though, because there I was cocky, but I'm like, I ain't gotta, these dudes are taking the shuttle to the PI at 6 a.m. I said, I ain't going at that time, bro. I said I want to sleep for a little bit longer. So I ended up not getting to the PI till like 8 in the morning, about 8:15. And I go in there and I'm like jogging on the bike, and jogging on the treadmill, and break a sweat, and then I go hop in the sauna, and they're like, are you gonna be able to make your weight, Rob? Like, we gotta leave at 9:30. And I was like, what? So we gotta fucking leave at 9:30? I was like, bro, that's like, I gotta cut like 8 pounds, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
God damn.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I was sitting there like, oh shit, dude. It got to the point where I like started getting in my head, dude, freaking out about it, because I'm like, dude,
maybe
here
I did fuck up. Said maybe I did.
I'm like, here I've been, telling all these dudes about fucking not cutting weight for power slap, and I'm not gonna make weight. I said, I have a championship. Even if I go knock this dude out, I said, I'm not gonna win the bout.
Yeah, and you're gonna lose some money.
And dude, you gotta lose a percentage of my purse, dude. I'll look unprofessional when I'm like, I try to carry myself as one of the most professional guys here. I'm like, had all these things going through my head. You already know you're in the sauna. Your heart's already beating fast just from sitting in there, and then I'm sitting there overthinking it. So my heart's beating fast as shit, dude. To the point where I'm like, trying to take some deep breaths, and I was like, fuck, I can't even sit here. I was like, I need to cut weight, but I can't even sit in here right now because I can't even breathe. I'm just kind of freaking myself out.
I'll start doing jumping jacks in the goddamn.
Yeah, dude, I was doing all that.
Well, man, I tell you one thing about power slap is I wasn't a fan of it until you. In fact, I probably did some posts on Facebook making fun of it. But just being around you and hear you talk about the process, hear you talk about the weight cut, the technique, the workouts, and like and how this has changed your life, really made me a fan of power slap.
Yeah, dude, and it's like, dude, don't trust me. I was in the same boat, dude. Even when I came off the first season, I'm like, dude, how do all these dudes think they're fucking how do all these dudes think they're fucking bad motherfuckers because
Yeah.
they're slapping each other? I said, of course they think they're gonna be tough because they get a free hit at me.
Yeah.
But now that they're kind of like weeding out, we got like now we have like a lot of professionals who are actual athletes.
Yeah.
You got a lot of fighters in there. You got
What's that chick? Paige Van Zandt.
Paige Van Zandt. Yeah, they have a couple dudes who play like pro level football in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, they're actually weeding it out to where like it's not like these other slap competitions where you see these dudes at bars knocking each other out. Dude.
Yeah.
It's just like
some athletes.
actual athletes who could like take generate a hit and take a hit. And I'm like, and it's kind of just building up from there because like you see like those other slap competitions, dude. They'll go until someone gets knocked out, dude. They'll go to like 20 rounds, bro.
Jesus.
And I'm
yeah,
like,
'cause I've seen one like this guy's like face was just like.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, I couldn't picture some of the guys in power slap hitting someone 20 times, bro. I'm like, dude, they're gonna hurt someone, hitting them.
Fun fact: I was offered a contract to do power slap from Gary DeFranco.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, from the producers, and he told me, he said, "Well, my name, I could get paid 4-on-4 to compete." And it was like when it was first starting, and I thought about it real quick, and I was like, I don't have the heart.
I don't think he didn't have the heart, but I also don't think he ain't got the power, man. He ain't got the power. Yo, he ain't got no knockouts, man. He ain't got that. He ain't got that.
We have this argument all the time. I don't have no knockouts.
How many pro? Actually, not even pro. How many MMA fights do you have total?
Okay, I have 30.
30?
Yeah.
How many of those MMA fights have you just gone out there just one shot? Boom.
None.
None. I'm not bullshitting.
Okay. Fair enough. But how many have I dropped? See, the problem is I would drop them and then I would finish
get right back up.
And the problem, I've hurt my hand. Look at my hands.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've hurt my hands too much. It's not my powers. I got weak hands. I don't know what it is about my I hit someone and my hand just shatters and I'm like, God damn. So I'm just gonna wrestle you and submit you.
Yeah. Definitely wouldn't have been his thing.
Yeah, no.
That first time, what you say? Oh, damn, you hit like a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, check this out, guys. Let's kind of flip this. Let's talk about Robert, your personal life, and we're not gonna get too personal, but just a little bit. Like since you got all this fame, how does this affect relationships, girls? What's going on, man? Is Robert a single man? Is he what's going on?
Yeah, I'm single.
You're single?
Yeah.
Life.
It's just me and my daughter's mom and my son's mom, we both have really good relationship. I actually have my son full time.
Nice.
His mom's actually been doing a lot better, so she's been stepping it up, helping with him.
I found out today you're a father. I was looking at your Facebook page.
Yeah, and then so my son just turned 11, dude. So he keeps me super busy. He's always wanting to do stuff, which is cool to me because like right now I'm the cool dude to him. But and all his little friends, of course, But in a few years he's just gonna go hang out with his friends.
Enjoy this moment because sooner or later your son gonna turn into an asshole like this kid.
But at least I'm still here, man.
Yeah, it's true. In the gym. Yeah, you're still here in the gym and pain in my ass, bro. I'm telling you, if your son ever fights and you want to be his coach, he's gonna be the biggest pain in your ass out there, guaranteed. Like Elijah's the only one that want to sit there and argue back with me in front of class. Like no other fighters.
Just the other day it was what, Friday?
Yeah, sparring.
Because I was like, sometimes he doesn't see what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't see what he's seeing.
Yeah.
So we like, man, what the hell? What you tell me?
But most athletes will be like, all right, coach, I hear you. And then they kind of move on. He want to sit there and actually argue with me in front of everybody. I'm like, God damn it, who gym is this?
Dude, and I already see it, bro, because my son, dude, he loves football to death, which is cool with me. Football is my first sport, but unfortunately, us small guys, we ain't going anywhere. But
I unfortunately didn't go.
I'll sit there and I'll be coaching him, so I'll be like, well, Dad, I saw this on this video. I was like, bro, dude, you're watching a video. Who knows what, they're even teaching on that. So I'm going to show you some stuff that actually works, you know, and I make him do footwork drills the other day, and he was pissed at me about it. And I'm like, dude, it's the biggest thing in any sport is having footwork,
Ooh,
and
so
you don't want to listen, man. That. These kids these days, man. These kids these days.
Yeah, and then my daughter, she's a little wild one, dude. I don't know if you guys saw that video I posted of her playing with the snake.
Oh, I did. Yeah. She was just picking up like a little gardener snake, just like
dude, I picked it up at first and I was like, oh shit, because I was moving some stuff around the yard and I picked it up and I was like, oh shit, I was like, better get this out of here because it's gonna scare her.
Yeah.
And she's like, Dad, can I see the snake? And I was like, no. I was like, you can't hold it. You know, the dad in me instinct goes, no, you can't hold the snake. And she's standing there pissed. You know, she's 3.5 right now.
Yeah.
And she's standing there pissed, dude. And I was like, you really want to hold it? I was like, you can't touch the head. I said, I'll let you hold it. So I let her hold it. And she was so excited, bro, petting it. And, dude, she's crazy. Dude. I feel like she's going to be my little fighter, you know. And
I mean, I probably... the daughter being a fighter, I'll be actually super dope.
Then you're really gonna get the attitude.
Yeah. I could imagine training Nina Malaysia to fight.
Yeah,
man, that would just drive me crazy. So now that you out there, you single, but you're taking care of your kids and whatnot. Like, has girls been like sliding in your DMs, but like, you know, come slap me anytime,
dude, constantly, bro. Dude, girls and gay dudes, dude. Dude, I don't know if it's because I get my eyebrows done, but
heavy on them gay dudes for sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Bro, they be hitting me up. One guy, he asked me, he was like, yo, are you DL? I'm like, what the hell that mean? I'm like, what that mean? He's like, are you down low? I was like, bro.
I'm like, wait. What part of my character have you seen to make you think that I was down low?
Yeah, I was like, don't ever play me like that.
Yeah. See, it's got to the point, dude, I don't even message people back on any of my socials. Even some of my friends, bro, dude, my shit will be so blown up. Some of my friends will be like, oh, you didn't answer me, bro. Yeah. I'm like, bro, I ain't look at that shit. It was like, I said, if you want to get a hold of me, get my number. I said, because half the time I said, I don't see some of those messages. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, dude, I'll constantly, like you said, I have the girl slide in there, you know, like you said, can you slap me like that? You know,
I've seen a couple of people there like, yo, talk about your eyebrows.
Yeah, all the time, dude, bro.
They're like, oh man, this guy get his eyebrows done.
I even saw in this last one, they're like, oh, this dude for sure has plastic surgery. You know, I was like,
you do get your eyebrows.
Yeah, I get them threaded. Yeah.
I don't know why that's funny. But for some reason it's funny.
Dude,
I couldn't go with it, but hey, man, can you make sure my eyebrows are lined up?
Dude, I remember when I first started training with Jeremy, bro. They'd always give me shit about it. And I was like, bro, it's a tactic, dude. I said, I go into my fights and the dudes are just looking at my eyebrows. And that's when I catch them.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, dude, you constantly see those comments, you know, and then especially it's hard because I'm from a small ass town, you know, right now. So like, dude, like this past few weeks, you know, like, dude, it's hard for me and my son even to go sit down somewhere and eat, dude. I mean, got people asking to take pictures with me, like, whole crowd around
That's
me.
dope and annoying at the same time.
Exactly.
It's probably more dope than annoying, but it could be annoying at times.
Yeah, definitely. I'm like, all right, bro. I'm like, I already talked to 20 people. So let me eat here real quick. I walk in the store, dude, everyone talk to me. It's cool, you know, my little town has my back, though. Like, they had a parade for me and shit.
What is the town?
Raton, New Mexico.
Fun fact.
I thought you was from Pueblo, but...
Fun fact, because, you know, I did see you have your own day. When is your day?
April 24th.
April 24th.
Coming up. And
I also have my own day here in Colorado, so I think it's pretty dope that we both have our own days in our own city.
That's it.
I'm so happy that, like, you got, like, you know, the fame and whatnot, because sometimes... You know, when you compete against someone and then they just like disappear. I love seeing the guys I compete against, even the ones that beat me or the ones that lost to me, do good.
Yeah.
You know, like, cause we shared a moment together, and I want after this, you know, we go to war, we try to figure it out. Then after that, I want to see everybody like do good.
Mm-hmm. That's why I felt bad for Vince.
I did feel bad. Vince Morales. Watching him. Actually, you watched the fights last night?
Yeah.
What you thought about that fight?
He didn't look that good. I mean,
Vince versus Rojas.
Rojas.
Yeah.
Obviously, dude, to me, he's a boring fighter, bro. And like, whenever he fought that one dude who just knew exactly how to fight him, he defended all those takedowns.
That's Christian Rodriguez.
Oh yeah.
Who also fought last night.
Yeah. Christian Rodriguez, he's a dog.
He just gas rolled out with defending his takedowns and then just toyed with him the rest of the fight, bro. And like, I feel like if you could defend those takedowns, it's an easy way to beat him because his striking is not good at all.
Yeah, and it's also his takedowns. His takedowns are tenacious, but they're not like super fast, world class. Like, he's not a grinder. I mean, actually, take it back. He's a grinder, but he's not like an athletic, fast takedown guy. So if you can stop it like the way Christian Rodriguez did, you can beat him. He's beatable. And he's also have that like immaturity because he's only 20 years old.
I feel like if he just believes in his hands a little bit more, because there was one stint in the first round where I saw like Raul let his hands go a little bit and he landed.
Mm.
But for some reason I don't know why he didn't go back to, or maybe he just saw the clear path to victory was through the wrestling
Yeah.
and the control. But you know, I feel like when you're a name like him, you know, people want to see more. You know what?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess we'll see what his in the next few years or maybe the next year. He said he's calling out for a top 15 opponent. And
He did. He's a top 15 opponent already.
Yeah, after this, yeah.
You beat a guy who you just beat.
Yeah.
And now you call out for a top 15. First
and
of all,
not even really in a dominant fashion.
Yeah, right. And also like that whole matchup was super weird because Elijah just beat him February 15th. So we're talking about less than 6 weeks. And so Vince, he didn't get a training camp. He had to cut weight all over, and then he had to fight in Mexico City with the elevation being so high.
I told him they should have gave that fight to Chris Gutierrez.
Chris Gutierrez, yeah. That would have been. See, I think Chris would have been like too advanced too.
I think you beat Chris. If you beat Chris, then maybe.
But he won't beat Chris.
Right? I know, but I'm saying if he did, then maybe a top 15 guy might, because Chris, he's like right outside the top 15. He's not ranked anymore.
Yeah.
But he's like right outside.
Yeah.
And I feel like beating Chris will be the doorway to that top.
Yeah.
I mean,
top 15.
As far as numbers goes and rankings, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's just the fact they knew he was not going to beat Chris. Yeah. So they're trying to protect it, which is it's so interesting. Like how do you promoting this guy, because he's only 20 years old. He's not a looker. We all know that. he's not a looker.
Actually,
but that's props to the UFC.
I think the opposite. I think he is a looker, not a good looker. I don't even know how to properly say that. That don't even sound right. But I think the fact that he looks, the way his looks,
he's a real distinct look.
Yeah, he has a real distinct look, and I think that builds his character, his image. That is his image. The way his moving face that everybody talks about.
They always find this clean cut looking guy. They promote him, like someone that who looks really nice. You can put him on camera, that could talk really well and whatnot. So I'm shocked that they're going this route, but. Hey, props to them. They're going for skills more than looks. I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, a lot of people, they like to, make memes and stuff like that. So once you start becoming a meme and all that stuff, they're like, oh.
Wee.
Yeah. Come with a saying like that, and you look like that, and you're the youngest cat in the UFC. It's like, all that comes together. Sometimes, getting clowned on brings people more money.
I mean, I guess, I get.
Look at Ashton Hall.
Who?
Ashton Hall.
You talking about the...
yeah, everybody like dunking their face in the...
Have you tried that?
No. Oh, the ice water? Yeah. I would do it for other reasons, though. I'm like, I don't want to get old, get wrinkles. So
right. I mean, he's doing it for that. He's doing it because it's supposed to help with, anti-aging, and it also helps with waking you up, kind of like better than coffee. So he's doing it for multiple reasons. But honestly, he's probably doing it because of it just gets people like, what the fuck is that? What are you doing now?
Got that water with Saratoga.
Yeah.
Those
things are expensive, man. Those things, I looked it up. And because I was gonna do a video, I was gonna do my like morning routine, and I saw like one of those bottles like $20-some. I was like, all right, shit, I can't do that.
Man, you got $20-some on you.
I got 20, but I can't spend $20 on one bottle of water, man. I felt some type of way to like buy this, to spend $20-some just to do an Instagram reel. I don't know. I guess I'm cheap.
That boy went to the tap water.
Yeah, I did. I went to the tap water. So man, all right. I got this game I want to play with you. I got seven words I'm going to say, and I want you to tell me the first thing that come to your mind. The first thing that come to your mind.
I'm blank now, right?
Right, okay. All right. Start with Raiders.
Disappointing.
Yeah, disappointing.
Hey,
I see where the Raiders at.
They've been hurting me for a while already.
Yeah,
bro.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, I'm a huge fan, bro.
I'm guessing you met Max.
Yeah. Signed my jersey for me.
Yeah.
He's our bright spot. Him and Brock Bowers are two bright spots in the team.
Yeah, Brock Bowers. Yeah,
I mean, it's a hopeful year. We got a good coach now. We got Tom Brady doing a lot of stuff for us.
Also,
I met Tom Brady.
Oh, you did?
Tom Brady was at my Power Slap match last year in February, and but it was crazy because
they be having all the stars at Power Slap. It's so crazy.
Dude, it's wild. I got to take pics with Travis Scott and Tyreek Hill, and but Tom Brady was different, dude. He had people walking with him, and all we could say was, "What's up?"
Yeah, you can't even get him. Damn.
You can't get no pic with him,
he
bro.
ain't about that life.
Damn.
All right, Dana White.
Awesome.
Awesome.
He's a good ass dude, bro.
Change your life.
Yeah, and he's not like one of those dudes who let the money change him. You know,
Yeah.
it's art, dude. We'll be at these after parties with him, bro, and we'll just be chilling. And this last one, I was kind of sad at him. I said, Dana, so why don't you wrap the belt around me, bro?
That is true, yeah.
He didn't wrap the belt around.
No, the president of Power Slap did, which he's a man. Frank really likes you, bro. He wanted to do it this time, which to me is cool. I'm cool as fuck with the president of Power Slap, so I'm like, all right. I was like, but you got to do the next one, bro. And he's like, all right. He's like, I got you. And then he flipped me a couple $1,000 chips.
Damn.
He said,
Thank you.
He's like, go have some fun. I said, all right, dude.
We good now.
Yeah.
We good now.
Yeah.
No problem. Okay. Pablo.
I don't know. Wild. I'll just say wild.
Wow, yeah. You have to choose your words wisely.
Yeah. I don't want to get too into it. Wild.
You know, before we move on to the Pueblo thing, I want to talk on Pueblo because Pueblo, being from the Springs, we always shit talk on Pueblo.
Yeah.
Like we
it's like Denver talk shit on us.
Yeah. But if there is Denver and Colorado Springs, we'll team up to shit on Pueblo. I swear we will. Cause
that's fucked up.
Pueblo, there's just nothing down there. God forbid, you might as well leave your keys on, your doors unlocked to your car. Cause I had a couple of friends who went to CSU Pueblo College down there, and their cars are getting broken into left and right. But for me, it's just like there's nothing really down there for me.
Besides the college, yeah.
Besides the college and maybe the Riverwalk or the
which is where I wrestle at. Yeah, I mean, it's less developed than Colorado Springs, but I think it still got some good people down there. And like I said, the college is a perfect place for me because that's where I went to go wrestle at. So.
And also, my hate came from playing football.
Oh yeah.
So playing teams like Pueblo East, they always whooped our ass because they're really good. I think they won the state title when I was in high school. And then you have Pueblo Central, Pueblo South. Pueblo South is really good. So it's just like, man, I don't like y'all. I don't like y'all motherfuckers.
And to me, I just tell everybody, it's who you surround yourself with. I look at people more in the city than I do the actual city itself. And of course you're gonna see the ghetto shit anywhere,
that's real.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like who you surround yourself with. But then at times, there's just times you can't get away from it, especially in a place like Pueblo, because it's kind of just all over.
Okay, I got another one for you. Carter Lee.
It's my world.
Yeah. That's his son.
Him and my
That's
baby girl,
Yeah.
And her name's Liliana, my daughter's name.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, man. I figured you were gonna say something like that. Man, it's so cool to build a legacy for your kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To really give your kids something to look up to. Even if they don't appreciate it right now, but later on they'll be like, you know what, my dad was kind of cool.
Yeah, and I mean, not even just, like I said, I'm from that small town, dude. It's super small, bro. And all the kids there, they're either getting raised by their grandparents or just their mom alone, A lot of them don't really have too many positive male role models. And I actually, I work in the schools too, I do a thing called Boys Council where I just go talk to all the younger dudes, you know what I mean? And give them a little hope, and all of them get excited when they see, especially after my match, see me going into the school with my face all bruised up still. And I go, dude, you did it. All of them,
See them slapping each other. Okay, Dakota McGregor.
Oh, he's a gangster, bro.
Yeah.
I gave it to him, dude. I'm like, I hit that motherfucker hard. I mean,
I thought you knocked him out the first round.
Now, this is something that you probably didn't see. So you slapped him, right? And his first slap, it kind of clubbed you a little bit, and you kind of got a little irritated. And so when it was your turn to go, you slapped him, and I don't know if he didn't like the slap, but he kind of flinched at you.
Yeah.
Was there can you explain what happened?
And first and foremost, Dakota McGregor was your last opponent.
Yeah.
Who you won the belt from?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was. He didn't win it. Wait, did?
Wait,
it was vacated.
It was vacated.
It was vacated. Okay.
Yeah. So, a lot of dudes, you'll see them, they get hit, and it's kind of reaction. They smack each other with that thing, dude. And I think he went to do it to me, and I moved. And dude, this is where I swear, dude, I think they're trying their hardest for that dude to win somehow because he did that and I moved out the way and I was like, the fuck? And he's like, so I would never, bro. I think he was just like in the moment,
Okay.
which, you know, like to me, I'm like, if you did it, I'm like, all right, I'd be probably annoyed there, you know. Yeah, I'm like, I moved right away. I said, I know not to move on the staff. I said, if you're swinging something else at me, I'm fucking getting out the way.
I'm moving, yeah.
And, you know, Jason Herzog, he's my boy, but he's like, Rob, keep it professional. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this dude just trying to swing the shit at me.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, he did that.
You could tell he didn't like that slap because when you slapped him and he just like, it was so weird. He like literally like I was like, okay.
And dude, I mean, I feel like, you know, he, like I said, he ate the hits. I didn't take anything from him, but dude, I for sure, like, dude, I think he flinched almost like every single round, like, and the refs just weren't calling. Even like you rewatch it on YouTube, you know, Bisbee's like, oh, he fucking flinched again. You didn't have to review it.
Yeah. The whole flinching thing is weird, man, because I don't know if I cannot flinch. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
This one dude, he did a perfect breakdown, bro, because he's like one of those dudes who gets all precise. I watched his full, it was like a 30-minute breakdown of our match, and he did this thing where he was putting these two lines on McGregor's face every round. He'd see me line up, and I'd land every time. He wouldn't move the lines, but he would just let the video play. I'd land my hand perfectly in those lines every time, and Dakota would always be like 4 inches lower than where the video started. So I hit him high like 3 times, you know, and the 2 times I didn't, I dropped him both times.
Yeah.
So
Damn.
That's crazy. Okay. Power slap.
amazing
Amazing.
on the growth.
Growth. You think power slap is going to be around in the next 5-10 years? Or you think it's like this is a quick little
maybe
money
not
grab?
10, but maybe 5 more years.
5 more years.
But
I feel like it'll still be
can
around.
you jump back and forth? You think you could, like, I'm going to get an MMA fight, I'm going to go back to the power slap, I'm going to be a double champion one day?
yeah, I've wanted to, you know. I'm like, so that's I do, you know, and I've talked to him about it. I'm like, hey, like, you know, I'm the champ now, can I still fight? And they're like, yeah, as long as it's sanctioned events, you know. Some of these events, I mean, you go to, you know, you have like ghetto events in Montana and shit like that where they do. That's where I fought in Montana, bro, and you know, you get blood tests. They asked me on a paper like, do you have HIV? And I'm like, oh shit, should I be fighting here?
I think it would. I mean, just from being there now, I don't think that power slap will be one of those things where it'll be able to be hosted in like an arena, like a T-Mobile arena. But I definitely think power slap will be around for a while.
I think it's one of those things.
It could be in the team if you have the right stars. You know, you got the right stars, the right names.
Maybe if you get like a Jake Paul or something. A Jake Paul, you know, it's one of these celebrities, you know, knocking each other out. Maybe.
So like, could you do a slapping competition in another company, or you exclusive?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it in another company.
I mean, you could go over to Russia. They could probably double up, triple your money.
Hell no.
Okay.
They're gonna put you against their Russian killer.
Yeah, I'm like, unless they're paying me as much as Power Slap does, I ain't doing it.
Okay, well, check this out. Let's say, suppose PFL came knocking on your door, like, hey, man, I got this contract I want you in the PFL league. Could you sign with them?
For MMA.
For MMA?
I think I'd be able to. I think so. Yeah.
And still
because I think so. It's kind of the weird thing in our contract. We can't do like another slapping organization, and I think they have like weird shit like wrestling organizations and stuff like that, like fake wrestling, like WWE and that type of stuff. I'm like,
what?
I don't think I'm gonna like jump into. I think it's more like theirs was more along the lines of like entertainment rather than like other like combat promotions.
Interesting. Okay. Last one. Elijah.
Oh, yeah.
Star. He's a star, bro. He's a star, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate
I think you're gonna climb the ranks, bro. I tell everyone you have what it takes. You know what I mean? Which tripped me out about our fight because like I wasn't really even too worried about your. I knew you were gonna try to take me down, but I wasn't really too worried about your wrestling. I watched all your fights and I was like, dude, you got fucking hands.
Yeah.
And I don't think you realize how good your hands are, but you see a lot of these other wrestlers, bro. I was even watching Colby Covington hit the bag the other day, and I'm like, dude, my hands are better than this dude.
He's pretty bad.
You know, and I look at like a lot of these dudes, and like you're fast and you also hit hard. So
yeah, I mean, have you thought about boxing?
I've I've used to box before I started MMA, so I've kind of thought about going back, but at the same time, it's just a lot more boring to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree, because sometimes I'll be watching like these boxing fights. I'm like,
I just love getting in the grueling, just especially against Cage. I love fighting against Cage, like throwing knees.
Well, I tell you what, man, for sure you have to come up here. We got to get some training in. I would love to like work with you. I know you got your team, and you got really great guys in Pueblo, right?
Yeah.
Right. And could that's where you live at and train, or
I train there. Yeah, I'm still in Raton, but I'm still. I pretty much.
How far is that away from?
It's like an hour 15 minutes. It's not bad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I'm in training camp, I'll actually stay with Jeff. I stay with Art a lot. So.
So I do want to ask a question, because for being a UFC fighter, you have to give them your whereabouts for testing. How does testing go about? Like, do they random drug tests, and also do you have to give them your whereabouts as well?
So that's the crazy thing, because they test us the same exact. We go through the same exact testing agency, the same exact tests as the UFC fighters, but we don't have to. They don't do randomized on us. We just have to test
when you
every
compete.
match. Yeah, when we ever compete.
Oh yeah, because these motherfuckers, they pop up at my door at fucking 7 a.m. Like,
yeah.
Yo, can you pee in this cup?
Yeah, dude, and you get like we had our first anti-doping class. Dude, that lady had me all scared. I was like, oh shit.
They're like, Olympic sized pool. They can find one little grain of
salt. Yeah.
Well, I've never like fucked around with taking anything, but she was just like, you gotta clear everything with us beforehand. She's like, if you're having real bad allergies the day of your competition, you take a Claritin. Yeah. So it might pop up as like speed or something.
Yeah, they're like, don't take, if you, the day before your fight, don't drink any caffeine, like coffee or anything, it'll pop up. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, like they had me thinking, I'm like, damn, did I take anything?
I'm like, oh shit. Well, what have I ate?
It could definitely put like the fear of God in you, but it's still smart, because we know a lot of fighters who came up positive just because of a stupid supplement they took. Their friend, hey man, try this, and it seemed like a really good thing. It seemed like it has some good properties and good attributes, and come to find out it's tainted, and now your career is shot because it's something small like that.
Yeah, and the dude, Isaiah, the one who's the main event, the bald dude. So before he won the title, he was like on a 6-month suspension, because he went and just bought him the natural test boosters on Amazon and shit like that, and he popped dirty for those. Wow. So I'm like, damn.
How long was he suspended for?
Like 6 months, dude.
Damn.
And it was just shit he was taking off Amazon.
6 months ain't bad, considering the fact that sometimes in the UFC you get popped, you could be down for 2 years. So I would say he got popped for 6 months, and he got that sentence because he proved there was a tainted supplement and not him cheating. Mm-hmm. Now, if you out there really, really cheating and pumping yourself up, you get 2 years. And for some people, that could be your career.
I ain't gonna lie, when I watched his match, I was sad. Yeah. I was like, damn, because it's different when you have a personal connection. Like I've actually chatted with this guy, and seen him in person and had a real conversation.
Who you talking about?
The main event,
Isaiah Quinones, he's like tied up.
Oh, the one that we had. He didn't win that.
Nah, he has the Tesla truck.
Yeah. I thought he won.
No, he didn't.
He beat him. They compete against each other in Saudi Arabia, and then they rematched, and he lost this one. But it's because he's one of those dudes who's out trying to prove a point, bro. I know I got a good chin, but I ain't gonna sit there and try to prove a point and put it in the air, dude. I'm fucking tucking that shit as much as they allow me to.
I've seen that. I was like, damn, his chin is definitely out there. Because he got the first slap, Isaiah did, and I thought they were gonna call the fight because he slapped the shit out of dude, and blood was squirting out.
Yeah, he broke his nose, dude.
Yeah, blood was squirting out his nose. I was like, oh god damn. But the other guy, they gave him that 2 minutes, right? That 2 minutes to recover, and he shook back and landed a beautiful blow that put him down, and that was it.
Oh, he got knocked out?
Yeah, he got put down.
It was more of a TKO. Yeah, he went down and he got up and he was falling all over.
And it was the same night you won your championship?
Yeah.
See, I didn't watch that, man. The only thing I watched was you. I didn't watch the whole thing. Damn.
I'm telling you, man, you gotta go watch one of them. Whenever they have another power slap and you're in Vegas, hopefully you're in
Well,
Vegas.
shit, now that I know the champ, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Champ, give me some free tickets.
Yeah.
We gonna get in, yeah.
Shit, because that was something definitely a cool thing to experience. And what I thought was cool is that not only did I want to watch it, because we went to the weigh-ins, the UFC weigh-ins for Alex Pereira, and I was like, damn, I don't know if we're gonna make it. And Janai, she was like, she was like, dang, I really want to go watch it. And when she told me that she really wanted to go watch it, I was like,
Which is kind of shocking.
yeah, I was like, she don't never want to watch these fights. She wanted to watch the Alex Pereira fight because she was like, I want to watch Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
It was his bunkiest fight.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was like, I'm so sorry that you had to see this side out.
Out of all the fights you watched, that one, the one you actually paid for tickets to go watch, is the one he shows up in.
But she really wanted to go watch the fights, and she really wanted to watch you, and just her interest in it. I was like, damn. I really would now I gotta go. Now we gotta go, and just witnessing it live. It's a different atmosphere.
And it's cool because like they always had a crowd at the Apex, but it just wasn't like how the Apex is. Wasn't he had all the stars there, and then people would come watch. But now that like, I think there was like a little over 5,000 people at that one.
Yeah.
5,000 or 6,000, something like that.
It was a cool.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and the venue, Fontaine Bloom,
Yeah.
Blues.
That place is awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's like
that's why I think they could get to the point where they could fill maybe like a 20,000 arena. I don't know about some 50,000 ones, but
well, I mean, a 20,000 arena would be like a T-Mobile, because T-Mobile is about like 15,000, 16,000. Okay. But and I think it comes down to how much the ticket prices are. If you make it affordable, you know what I'm saying, the ticket price should not be the same as a UFC fight. So if you cut that in half,
or what if they did it at the World Arena, like a venue like a World Arena?
That'd be sick.
Which they wouldn't, because you remember.
I know, but like arena like that.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be dope. Shit, bring it over to the Pepsi Center. I mean, the Ball Center. The Ball Arena.
When they first started allowing public to go in, just because of the amount of stars Dana would get in, they'd show like a gold package tickets, like $1,500 a ticket. And dude, people were buying these fucking things.
Damn, you know how much a ticket costs for when they have a fight at the Apex? It's $2,500.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. So like people, they were hitting me up. They're like, Elijah, I want to come to your fight. How much the tickets? I was like, I'm not saying you're broke, but these tickets are a little bit. These tickets.
I don't think you want these problems.
I'd be like, man, it's expensive. They like, man, I got the money. I'm like.
Thinking they're $150.
I'm like, bro, these are $2,500 tickets at the Apex. I'm like, don't worry, there's gonna be a time where we're in an arena where there's more affordable, where the ticket's gonna be more affordable.
I think the UFC now is trying to get away from the Apex. They try to do more fight nights, in different cities, the way it used to be before the pandemic. I think they're still going to have a couple fights at the Apex, but now they're trying to hit smaller cities and try to have more cards, which I think would be dope. Because like you say, fighting the Apex, it's convenient.
Yeah.
It's convenient, but it doesn't have any energy.
Yeah, it's like one of those things I'm like, oh, shit, I don't even want to be here. Like, I've been there so much, I'm like, I don't even want to be in here. Like,
Yeah. It's like you go in and you leave, and it's like, they don't treat you, know what I'm saying? I can't wait till we actually get a good venue. Hopefully for him, our goal would be fighting June 7th in New Jersey. Not saying we're going to get it. That's what we've been asking for. And let's see how that plays out. I'm really hoping we do get it, though.
Yeah. What venue's there?
Is in Newark.
Okay.
Because my family's from there.
What's the venue there? What's
the Prudential Center.
Okay.
Yes. Nice.
I did see but I ain't gonna lie, the main event is kind of boring.
What's the main event again?
I don't want to.
What's the main?
They do have the sickest mall I've ever been to.
What's the main event again?
And I don't want to. It's I think it's Juliana Pena
versus Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, I think so.
Hey man, honestly, that has nothing to do with you though. Like,
I know. But
it's not like you getting pay-per-view points on it or something like that.
Yeah, I mean that is true, but goddamn, I want to be on the exciting card.
Yeah,
you worry about the wrong thing.
I want to be on
And unfortunately, since Nunes retired, dude, there hasn't been no exciting chick fights, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I think that fight is going to be. I don't think it's going to be a bad fight. Because, listen, Pena, I don't think skill-wise, I'm just being honest here, I don't think she's good skill-wise, but she's a fighter. She's gonna go and fight. And Kayla Harrison, she's a grinder. So we see how that plays out.
Yeah.
I do think Kayla Harrison probably gonna run through her, but I don't care about that. I just care about fighting in June. That's what we want, time wise.
You mean on the main card?
This guy. And also fighting in June, fighting on the East Coast is something we never done. My family's like 20 minutes from it. And fighting in an arena in the area that I still know the city. So you know how it is when you're traveling to these new cities and you're competing in it. It's like, where the hell to eat at? Where's this place at? Where's that place at?
Yeah,
It's like a pain in the ass. You know?
That's pretty dope.
Just like Joe Pfeiffer, whatever his name. Yeah, he said it himself, like he's never gonna fight overseas again.
Shit, if they call him up and they tell me he gonna fight,
He said, that's what he said.
He said, I ain't going. But I want to give this time to give to you if you want to shout out, any of your sponsors, any family,
team,
friends.
your coaches, anything.
Yeah, man, I'd like to shout out, Warrior Bill and Pueblo, obviously, Jeremy Kimball here in Springs, Power Slap, everything they've done for me. Head Rush, they just dropped my championship tee. I don't know if you guys saw me post that, but they sent me a lot of things too. Head Rush is dope. Dios Azul Tequila, they're another one, holding it down. And then, everyone back in Raton, my little town, you guys all hold it down for me. From my family to all my fans and just friends and everyone, thank you guys.
Cool. Nah. Real quick, let's give a shout out to Sheaf. You know what it is, Sheaf, the only underwear that I wear, and the bet is still going. If you ever catch me in the street, and if you want to check my underwear, and if that underwear is anything but Sheaf, I will pay you $100, guaranteed. That's all I wear is Sheaf.
Same. Y'all know what I'm rocking.
Yeah.
Hey. All right, that concludes our episode of Belt to Ass. Be ready. Stay on the lookout for the next episode.
Yeah.
Boom.